Afternoon to all my viewers. Webby Sports Roundup here on a Tuesday afternoon. Just on the way down to see Jenno. Yes, my mate Jenno. Not seen him for a few years. Neil Jennings used to be a great football player, but non-league. But he's been there, done it, bought the t-shirts. Got some great stories about the crazy gang, Wimbledon, Vinnie Jones. Stay tuned. Yeah, boys, this is the one we've been waiting for. This is me pal, Neil Jennings. Used to come in the world famous Contra bar many moons ago, which you know I sold it 7.5 years ago. You are tuned into Webby Sports Roundup here in sunny Tenerife, and I'm in the Royal Sunset Beach Club, where I used to get a lot of my customers come down, have a few beers and talk football. Neil, good afternoon, son. How are you, big man?
Yeah, very good, Webby.
Good to see you again. After it's been many years, kid, isn't it?
No, big time, long time.
I didn't realise how much you were into football until you told me on the phone. Yeah, and a bit of horse racing. We'll keep that over another day and whatever. Give us a bit of an insight of when you started, when you were a kid, and who you follow. Who's your big football club?
Oh, my big football club's obviously Brentford.
Brentford Football Club.
Lifetime member.
Unbelievable. And how many season tickets you got?
5.
He's got more than anybody else put together, he says. Unbelievable.
And I'm going Saturday against Palace.
Fantastic. What about Ivan Toney? Obviously, you told me off record that he's going.
We're told he's going by the end of the, well, before he's out of his band.
Out of his back, yeah.
Yeah, he really doesn't get great pay. Well, he gets good pay, which to us, but for a professional footballer, it's not great.
Yeah, for sure.
He's on 20-30k a week.
Yeah.
And he could get 130 upwards.
Okay. Well, what about you starting in football? I mean, you started when you were a kid and you knew everybody. So give us a few stories.
I started non-league football when I was 16. Made my debut at 16. It was only in the London Spartan League.
Yeah. And
played in the Hellenic Southern League.
Hellenic League? I knew that
I played in a lot, travelled all over, a lot of Gloucester places.
Well, that's right. Yeah, Hellenic League, I used to play in the County League in Gloucester, and that was one below the Hellenic, so yeah. So you played good standard.
Against Abingdon and places like Abingdon United and teams like that.
Good football.
Yeah, it was always decent football.
And look at your weight now. I thought you've lost a few pounds since I've seen you last.
Yeah, definitely.
You've been training?
Yeah, of course.
You've been training, yeah?
Yeah, I've done a sponsored charity for my friend's wife. He unfortunately lost. Oh. It was for ladies fighting breast cancer. We raised over 2.5k.
Fantastic. Absolutely.
700 miles in 30 days.
No, unbelievable. Well, I'm doing a big cancer charity, everybody knows, over here, and we're doing a sponsor walk September, October, November, but we're only going from La Caleta into Porto Colon. So we're just doing a small one. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's too it's too hot over here now. We're talking 35 degrees today, aren't we?
But yeah, my first start when I was 16, I was fortunate to be I was in a match, but I was a sub.
Okay.
And I was 16 years old, and John Barnes was playing for Sudbury Court.
No way. The big John Barnes, Liverpool.
Yeah, he was 17 years old, was at Sudbury Court.
Yeah.
He signed that year for Watford.
Yeah, I remember him very well.
They won our league, Sudbury Court. I used to play in a team with Derek Brown. He was in the same side as Barnesy. Derek went on to Woking, got to about the 5th round of the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Derek, when he was at Woking.
Fantastic.
A few years ago. Never made the first round, got to the 4th round qualifying.
Yeah.
Never good enough for that standard. Played a hell of a lot of football in that stage. Had one season with Hillingdon Borough, managing them.
I remember then. You managed Hillingdon Borough?
I'd done the Suburban League.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the season, my mate who took me there got sacked, and I run it with a fella called Bobby Strutton, who's out in Malaga now.
Okay.
We run the last few games.
Fantastic.
And the team, it was Hayes FC or Brookhouse or whatever.
Yeah.
We've done that for about half a season.
Super.
And then I got involved with a friend, unfortunately again, who's not around, Graham Bell.
Okay.
He was coaching at Yedding, and I've done some coaching at Yedding.
Yeah.
Specialised training with
sure. Yeah.
And that year they played Newcastle in the FA Cup, 3rd round.
No way.
Yeah, they played FA Cup.
Remember what year that was, roughly? Was that
90s?
Back in the night, yeah.
So I remember going to QPR to watch them. it was quite a nice day.
We used to always talk about QPR Loftus Road many years ago in the Garden Bar, didn't you, with Bircham?
Yeah. It was, I knew Mark well.
Yeah, you
Mark
did.
Bircham, he was always a very mad QPR player and fan, always had his hair dyed blue.
Did he? Always dyed blue? Yeah, fantastic.
He used to have it dyed that, and obviously I knew a lot of the Wimbledon boys, as you know.
Well, that was the big question I was going to say to you. I remember the crazy gang. You knew Dave Bassett.
I knew Bassett and Wally very well. Bassett.
Yeah, Wally Downs was the one as well.
Yeah, Wally was very, very well. You know, Wally's Wally.
Yeah.
And I went everywhere when he was a coach all around the country.
Well, he's been everywhere, hasn't he? Names one or two clubs he's been to.
Who, Wally?
Yeah,
Wally was Southampton, Reading,
West Ham.
West Ham.
Yeah.
He started at Bury with, I can't think of the.
Yeah.
Come to me.
Bury and Gig Lane, yeah.
They won the 3rd division, I think it was.
Okay.
They got promoted in the 3rd division.
Okay.
He was at Reading, he was with Coppell at Reading. In Brentford, he was also coach at Brentford and manager at Brentford.
Where is he now? Is he retired now? Or?
He's out in, the last I spoke to him, he was out in Jamaica.
Okay.
Coaching their national side.
Lovely, yeah. But you were telling me off air about Dave Bassett. You had a great story. Can you say that on air?
Bassett, loads of stories.
Go on. Tell them the one you just said that you just told me and Keith.
I used to go to a lot of games with Bassett and picked him up one day when he lived in Beaconsfield. He still does.
Yeah.
And come back after the game, dropped him off, and suddenly in the back of my car the phone started ringing.
Yeah.
And looked through the phone, realised it was his, rang his wife and said, I've got his phone.
Yeah.
Put it on charge because it'd be dead.
Yeah, of
Left
course.
it in my house for the night.
Yeah.
And it drove me mad. He must have had 100 phone calls.
Oh my God.
And some of the people on them phone calls were serious people, like lickers, and they were at that level. And it was incredible. I used to sit in the car and I've had him and Wally in the car.
Yeah.
And you got Vinnie Jones ringing the back of the car and you think, this is mental.
Oh my God, yeah.
I've seen some things. And as I said to you, we went to the Rico one year with West Ham.
Yeah.
Wally was coach there. They was in the championship, and I backed John Carew.
John Carew
used to play for
West Ham, big up front. Yeah, I remember.
For 1 year.
Yeah, I remember.
I've done him as first scorer, and I got told off by Allardyce. Because I backed Carew and all they kept saying, we've got to get that Carew off, you've got to get him off. I'm going, no, I've got a tenner on it. You can't get him off. As soon as they scored, Coventry, you went 1-0 up. Yeah. West Ham 1-2-1.
Oh, thanks.
Get that Carew off.
Yeah. Thanks for telling me that.
That day, we turned up and we actually sat on the West Ham bench.
Fantastic.
Which was a unique thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Allardyce was quite a special manager.
Big Sam.
West Ham, I've went in you stay in his office, and you go in there after the game, chat to him. Yeah. He was very, very down to earth.
Brilliant.
We used to talk anything. We got banned for a period because we ate his pies. We used to have pies in here. Allardyce used to take them all over the family.
We played for Coventry many years ago. Big centre half.
He was very, very down to earth. Probably the most moving thing I've ever had in football was West Ham were playing Southampton. It was a midweek game. And 20 minutes before the game, we actually went out onto the pitch. And that was mind-blowing. There was 30-odd thousand.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It felt like a rabbit in the headlights. And I just looked round the ground and it was like, wow.
Unbelievable.
You know, the most I probably played against was about 1,000 people.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was just on a different level.
Quick story that you got me a great photograph. Can you pick that up? So I don't want to move the camera. Do you want to pick that for me? You kindly got that for me. Oh, how many years ago? 7.5, 12, probably about 12 years ago. We can see that. Now that was sent over to Vinnie Jones, wouldn't it? In America, and that's the film. I'm trying to remember what the film. Actually, the film's on there. I will find out what it is a bit later on. I do remember. And in there, if you have a look at it, you've got big Lennox Lewis on the left, and down underneath you've got Roger Daltrey. You can actually watch the film on TV. Absolutely brilliant. And he's actually signed it to Webbo and not Webby, hasn't he? But I'll tell you what, I treasure that, mate. Absolutely treasure it. And you got me that personally for me, didn't you?
Yeah, that was from LA.
That was from Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And then we actually had his address. I've still got, I don't know what it is now. I've still got
it. It was on the envelope.
It was on the envelope, so I've got it in. It's up in the wardrobe because all the sporting memorabilia I've got from the bar. More sporting memorabilia than any other bar in Tenerife, wasn't it? It was absolutely fantastic. And it's all at home now. And Dawn's going, get rid of it, but you can't. It's worth lots. But any more stories about the crazy gang?
Oh, Bassett once, we would go into a game and he was telling us, I said, what memories you've got?
Yeah.
And he said, oh, he was taking reserves one day because they were playing Exeter.
Yeah.
In a reserve match. And he said it was like having a zoo in the back of the minibus. He said, I'm driving the minibus.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've gone down the M4. He's suddenly gone onto the M5 just past Bristol.
Yeah.
And he's run out of petrol.
Oh my, I know it very well.
So he's got on the M5 and he sent one of them out with a billy can to go and get some petrol. He said, we're sitting on there. And he said, I've got the radio on. And he said, they're all in the back. And he said, I can hear laughing.
Yeah.
And he said, I wonder what that is. And they said, oh, we've just seen there was an announcement on the M5.
Yeah.
There's someone on top of a minibus naked. Oh. He said that was Wimbledon to a T.
Oh, dear.
One of them was stripped off naked and climbed on top of the minibus.
Who was the played for Covent, Dennis Wise?
Yes.
That was another one, little Dennis Wise, but he was a bit after, wasn't he?
Yeah, Dennis was at the end of it.
Yeah, he was at Millwall, Coventry.
He did tell us the crazy gang story, how it all come about.
Yeah, gotcha.
And they signed 1 year. They were at pre-season training.
Yeah.
And his player turned up. He was rocked up on a motorbike.
Yeah.
In all leathers, with their helmet.
Yeah.
And they said, we've all gone in, done the training. And Wally said, oh, we were sitting in the training, and they come out. And this fella was being interviewed by the local paper.
Sure.
And he said to Wally, and that he said, I'm getting interviewed later. So, of course, Wally and all that have done him up. So he's gone out there, he's done his interview, went to put his motorcycle helmet on.
Yeah.
And when you remember the years we used to use talcum powder
of course,
instead of the old underarm, they filled his helmet full of talcum.
Oh my God.
So he's put his helmet on, he's covered in talcum powder, 100% true, and Wally would tell you.
Yeah.
And that's when the reporter said, you lot are crazy, you're like the crazy gang.
Gotcha.
And that is how they started their thing.
Fantastic.
And they will verify that.
Yeah, super.
But that was all to do with this forward.
Yeah.
And the Ghetto Blaster started because I said to him, why did they take the Ghetto Blaster?
Big music.
To the changing room. And he said, we used to get a coach and this coach was falling apart.
Yeah.
And he said, because that's all Wimbledon could afford.
Yeah, for sure.
So he used to do a 5-hour journey and you had a little cassette player in the front of the coach.
Yeah.
And they went to a game and it had broken. So the next week, the players said, look, we can't have no music on the coach.
Yeah.
So they went out and bought a radio cassette player.
Oh, God.
So they've all got this cassette player in the coach.
Yeah.
And Wally said we were playing the music. I think it was Chesterfield or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Can't remember the exact club. And of course, they're playing the music, all singing to it.
Yeah.
And they thought they don't want to have the cassette player nicked, as you wouldn't want at the time.
Of course
so
not.
they took it in the changing room so they didn't get nicked.
And
they carried on singing.
Yeah.
And the other team banged on the door. And that was the reason they had the Ghetto Blast.
Absolutely fantastic.
And that's the story, how
and also
kicked off. And they realised it was an annoyance tool, so they went out and bought a bigger one.
Won the FA Cup as well, didn't they?
Oh, they won the FA Cup. They tormented Liverpool.
Wasn't it? Beat 1-0.
Fighting the life out of it. Yeah, Besson saved the penalty.
Yeah, Dave Besson. I remember him. Yeah. What a goal he was. Yeah.
I remember Wally went La Manga. They used to do a charity golf weekend.
Yeah.
And they raised money for the charity, and they got Besson. They told Besson that there was Wally, Besson, and there was another person in their team. And they got them on the tee, Wally did, and convinced Besson, and they were dressing up as women.
Oh no.
Besson has turned up with the wig on, the skirt on, and everything. None of them were dressed up.
Oh dear.
And Gascoigne was there, turned up.
Gaza.
Wally would tell you, he had a diving suit on.
Yeah.
The underwater diving with the old flippers.
God. Yeah.
And Gascoigne was going round. There was lots of rich clients, and Gascoigne was going round with a bottle of ketchup, putting it in their hair, anyone asleep.
Oh, dear me.
Rubbing it in.
Gaza.
It was chaos.
What a player he was. One of the best players that ever put on a set of boots, wasn't he?
Oh, he's one of the best players I've ever seen.
Yeah, for sure, all of us. Well, he was a bit about, wasn't he? Was it Lazio, Tottenham, Rangers?
Oh, he's done it.
But if you see him now, it's a shame.
No, he's finished.
Like George Best, isn't it? All the best players, wasn't it? All messed up. Any other stories before we go, Neil?
Not where there's lots of stories.
Yeah, we can go on forever.
The West Ham, some of the West Ham things, we've had some funny turn-ups. Wally with probably Millwall.
Yeah.
It's probably the scariest thing I've ever had.
Yeah.
We turned up in the Millwall game.
Yeah.
Away, West Ham, and I said, it'd be nice to sample what it'd be like in the away end.
Of course.
Bad mistake.
Oh, for sure.
So we pulled up in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Or outside Millwall.
Yeah.
They give us a sticker with Millwall written on it, Wally Downs, West Ham.
Okay.
And that wasn't staying at my car window, because I probably wouldn't have had a car left.
Yeah, for sure.
And then when we got inside the reception, Wally had the tickets in his pocket.
Yeah.
So we had to get them. We had to get police escorted into the ground.
Oh my God.
And then we spent 5 hours in the away end, because they locked us in for nearly 3 hours.
Just
we didn't actually know
any trouble in the end.
And one of the things what you're like, Wally used to, when we used to get tickets, he used to put them in the name of a person and give us a clue.
Yeah, gotcha.
So if we got in the ground, we had to guess who the person was. So he had one of the Arsenal players he put in. It was a Welsh international in the 70s, and that was the clue, and he left you.
That was it.
And he hung the phone up, turned the phone off. If you didn't guess who the player was,
you don't get it.
At Reading, it wasn't too bad. But he did do us at Brighton.
Yeah.
He turned up the Amex one year, and I was with Wally, his son, and another person. We got to the ground, and he said, "I'll put your name in the kitchen appliance."
Yeah.
So we're thinking, what the hell has he put it in, a kettle, or trying to think who the hell?
Yeah.
So we're standing in reception after parking.
Oh my God.
And so I said to the lady, "What's the name?" So I went, kettle. We're saying microwave. We're thinking, what is it?
Yeah.
And we couldn't get it with 10 minutes.
No.
And the lady said, "Well, I've got one odd one." And he put it in the 3 knobs.
Oh my God,
and that was his humour.
3, fantastic.
That is Wally Downs' humour.
Yeah,
So we sat there for quite a time trying to get in. And when you opened up the main envelope, that names were on it. Until you got through the first bit, which was the 3 knobs.
Fantastic.
And Southampton was another one. When we got up there, he said, "Good luck in getting in." And I said, "What's he done here?" Of course, when we gets up to Southampton, picks the tickets up, 3 under-18s. And that was his humour.
Yeah,
and
fantastic.
then at QPR, when he was there with Redknapp, and he said, "I've got you a ticket to go in." So we've got the special, we was in a family area.
Yeah.
Walked in the family area, and he texted me and he said, "Don't talk to anyone." I said, "What is he on about?" Looked at the ticket, and it was an under-8 ticket.
Oh my God.
And he finds that hilarious.
Yeah, I know.
And also, he'd done a charity, he was doing a charity parachute.
He's on one, Keith, he's on one.
We were doing a parachute jump he was doing out of a plane, Wally, and wanted us to sponsor it. So I've looked on there, so I thought we'll sponsor it 50 quid, 100 quid or something.
Yeah.
So I went to sponsor it, and he had Lineker, he had Shearer, he had like Vinny, he had all the famous people had sponsored him. And I noticed he had a hate. He used to hate the manager at Huddersfield, the old boy.
Not the one. He's back there now.
Yeah, he's back there now.
He's back there now. Neil Warnock. CAIXESBBXXX.
I noticed Neil Warnock wasn't sponsored it.
Gotcha.
So because of their dislike.
Yeah.
So we found a a dubious email and sponsored Wally for £2, Neil Walnut.
Oh my God.
He went mental.
I bet he did. Not very pleasing.
He gave us a lot of stick because he found out we went to Southampton, played Carlisle in the Johnson Pate final.
Johnson Pate Trophy. Coventry, we won that.
They won 4-1.
Yeah.
And we told him that day that we'd done it.
That's it.
He'd questioned everyone in the world.
Yeah, superb. Neil, listen, it's been an absolute awesome afternoon. Thank you for your stories, especially about the crazy gang. And obviously, Wally Downs is the main man, good friend of yours. And you said, where's he? Over in, he's over in Bob? In Jamaica. He's in Jamaica, doing that. Listen, you tuned into Webby Sports Roundup here on a Tuesday afternoon in Royal Sunset Beach Club in my manor. Everywhere's my manor in the south of Tenerife. Neil, cheers, big man. There's me, Anne, and we'll speak to you very, very soon. Cheers, Mucker. Top man. Okay, on the way home now. Thanks, Jenno. Absolute cracking 20 minutes interview. I'll tell you what, he got some stories from Dave Bassett, the manager of Wimbledon, and the crazy gang. Listen, if you like what you hear and you like what you see, tune in to Webby Sports Roundup. It's for free. Subscribe. You know it makes sense. See you soon.